According to the United States Surgeon General, we are facing a loneliness epidemic. 1 in 4 adults reports feeling entirely isolated, disconnected, and alone. But you made the choice to cut people off. You picked up your phone, saw their name, and decided, not today, not anymore. And here is what no one ever talks about. You don't feel lonely. You don't feel broken. You've never felt more at peace. So when did it all start? When did you become the kind of person who walks away and never looks back? You weren't always this way. There was a time when you were the dependable one, the friend who answered calls at 2 in the morning, the family member who always kept the peace, the partner who soaked up everyone's problems like a sponge. You were the one everyone called when things fell apart, and you showed up every single time. You listened to the same complaints, offered the same advice, watched them ignore it and return anyway, until one day something shifted. You didn't pick up the phone, and the world didn't end. If anything, it got quieter. That moment was not weakness. Your brain was doing precisely what it was built to do. Psychologists actually have a name for this. Dr. Stephen Porges calls it the Polyvagal Theory. Your nervous system operates in different modes, and one of them exists specifically for protection. When you've been drained too many times, when people have taken far more than they've given, your brain doesn't wait for permission. It simply flips a switch. It shifts you from social engagement mode into what researchers call the dorsal vagal response. In simple terms, shutdown, withdrawal, conservation. Not because you were broken, but because your nervous system is doing its job, guarding your energy like the finite resource it is, which, by the way, it absolutely is. But that raises a deeper question. Where did your nervous system first learn that people could be a threat? For many of us, the answer reaches further back than we care to admit. Maybe you grew up reading the room long before you could read books, scanning your parents' faces the moment they walked through the door, learning early that someone's mood could shift the entire atmosphere of your home. Psychologist Murray Bowen called this pattern emotional cutoff. It's what occurs when a child learns that closeness always comes with a cost, that love and unpredictability are always a package deal. And so you adapted. You became the one who could feel tension before a single word was spoken, the one who learned that the safest place was often solitude. And now, as an adult, that same pattern resurfaces every time someone gets too close. It's not a character flaw, it's a survival blueprint your younger self drafted to get through. But here is where it gets complicated, because there is a real difference between protecting yourself and constructing walls that keep everyone out. Here's the honest truth. Not all forms of cutting off are created equal. The Centers for Disease Control reports that prolonged social isolation raises your risk of heart disease by 29%. Stroke risk increases by 32%. This isn't just emotional, it's physical. But here's what they rarely tell you. Being surrounded by the wrong people can be equally as damaging. So how do you tell the difference? Walls shut out everyone. The good, the bad, the complicated. They are constructed from fear. Boundaries, however, are selective. They are built from self-knowledge. If you cut someone off and felt relief, that is data. If you cut someone off and felt at peace, that is not isolation. That is self-protection. The real question is not whether you should let people in. It's which people actually deserve access to your peace. And the truth is, you already know exactly who those people are. You have been observing them for years. Here is something fascinating about people who cut others off. You don't do it at random. You do it because you've become remarkably skilled at recognizing patterns. That friend who only reaches out when they need something, you spotted the pattern by month 2. That family member whose compliments always come with strings attached, you learned their rhythm years ago. That person who love bombs you and then vanishes, you saw the cycle before it even completed. A 2023 study published in Nature Neuroscience found that people who experienced early emotional stress developed heightened activity in their brain's threat detection regions. In other words, your brain became exceptionally good at reading people. Researchers at the University of Iowa found that the frontal lobe, the region responsible for complex social decisions, works in overdrive in people with this kind of background. You are not paranoid. You are not too sensitive. You are processing social information at a depth most people never reach. That ability to sense when something is wrong, that is not a flaw. That is thousands of hours of lived experience refined into a personal, early warning system. And when that system signals that someone will drain you, you have learned to listen. So no, you are not lonely. You are not broken. You are simply selective. And there is a word for what you are truly experiencing. Society has its own word for people like you. They label you isolated, withdrawn, antisocial. But those labels assume something is missing, that you are somehow incomplete without constant connection. Here is a different word: solitude. Loneliness is the painful absence of connection you desperately want. Solitude is the quiet presence of peace you consciously chose. You are not sitting alone wishing someone would call. You are sitting in your own space, finally able to hear your own thoughts. Your phone is silent, and that silence feels like relief, not rejection. The people who don't understand will say you are running away from something, but you already know the truth. You are not running away. You are running toward something, toward peace, toward clarity, toward a version of yourself that simply cannot exist within chaos. That is not isolation. That is your sanctuary. And if you are watching this video wondering whether something is wrong with you, I need you to hear this clearly. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are not a cold person. You are not heartless. You are not incapable of loving others. You are someone who learned the hard way that not everyone deserves a place in your energy. And instead of allowing that lesson to make you bitter, you chose to protect your peace, guard your energy, and build a life that feels calm rather than chaotic. That is not weakness. That is one of the most quietly fierce things a person can ever do. And if you are wondering where to go from here, the answer is simpler than you might expect. Harvard's 75-year study on happiness revealed one central truth. It is not about how many people surround you. It is about having the right ones by your side. So if your circle is small but filled with people who truly see you, you are not doing it wrong. You are doing it exactly right. If this felt like permission you never knew you needed, know that you are not alone. Go ahead and leave a comment. I read each and every one. Guard your peace.